All right, we got a two for today. We're gonna do a quick and easy hack on Chile Rellenos, and we're gonna smother it with a homemade pork green chilies. Two recipes for one. All right, some people will eat green chili the same way they would a red chili out of a bowl. I'm not in that group. For me, green chili is putting in things, or more importantly, putting on things, smothered. So here's the team. There's a pound of ground pork. There's 4 cans of canned green chilies. There's a can of canned diced tomatoes. Got some butter and onion, some flour, some jalapenos. That's what's going to add the kick here. Oregano, ground pepper, salt, and garlic powder. Okay, first we got to prep our veggies that are not canned. So we're going to start with this onion, and we're going to take that down into basically quarter-inch pieces. And after that, we're going to jump into these jalapenos. And traditional jalapeno thing, we're going to quarter it and then pull out the seeds and the membranes. Then take it down to eighths and chop it real fine. We're going to do this with all 4 jalapenos, and we'll be done with our veggie prep. Time to make the green chili. A little pat of butter in there because that pork fat's not going to render right away. Once that butter is melted, time to introduce the pork to my small Le Creuset. Ended up being too small. We'll show you that in a minute. Break it up. Start browning it. Put the top back on, which helps it cook faster. Once the top comes off, we're ready to do some other things. Time to introduce those hard veggies, and on top of that, we're going to add our seasonings. That's about a tablespoon and a half of oregano. It's about 2 teaspoons of cumin, about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, about a teaspoon and a half of salt, and then a bunch of grinds of black pepper. There's your seasoning. This stuff's going to be great. All right, time for the secret ingredient. Chinese spicy yellow mustard. Love this stuff. If you don't have this, you can use regular yellow mustard. But get that in there and get this mixy, and it'll be time to think about adding stuff associated with liquids. My problem is I'm starting to run out of space. You can see on the other side I've got my butter starting to melt from my roux, and here we go. We're adding that can of tomatoes and 4 cans of chilies with all their associated liquid. And now you can see that I'm not mixing very vigorously because I don't have enough room. So I'm going to transfer to the large Le Creuset, and now I got plenty of room to do things. I'm going to make my roux on the other side. It's just some butter and some flour, and I'm going to use it to thicken this. That's about 3 cups of water that have gone into the chili. I'm going to chop that roux up real fine so I can get it in here, and I'm going to bring this whole thing to a boil. And once I brought it to a boil and the roux has incorporated, time to take it off the heat and let it simmer. So we got our green chili simmered, and it's going to be great to smother something. So what I want to smother is Chile Rellenos, but Chile Rellenos are a pain in the butt to make. It's a really thick batter that you got to fry in, and then when you fry in these thick batters, you trash your oil, and I don't want to trash my oil. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use some Anaheims, but I'm going to wrap them in egg roll wrappers as opposed to using that thick batter. For my cheese stuffing, I'm going to use a cotija and Monterey Jack mix. To get the chilies ready, we got to roast them, so I'm just going to put them on this little pan and take them to my tabletop oven and roast them till they start to blister on both sides. So I don't know, it's maybe 3 or 4 minutes under the broiler on both sides, and you'll know they're ready when they start to shrivel and you get that little blistering. And then you're going to cut down the side and reach in and sort of pull out the seeds. And now you've got a cavity that you can stuff with this cheese mixture. Again, that's 50-50 Monterey Jack and cotija. You can use whatever you want. Queso fresco is traditional here. Mozzarella works great too. But once you got it stuffed, take out your egg roll in a traditional egg roll treatment here, where you sort of wet all the edges so that when you're wrapping this thing up, it'll stick. And put it in so you got about a ½ inch at the bottom left. Roll it up from the sides, roll the bottom up so it's all closed up. Now you see you got this top piece. So that's a function of me picking chilies that were a little bit too big, but that's all right. I got plenty of these wrappers. So I'm going to cut just a little tiny X there. Treat it again so I can get it to stick when I put it on. And I'm going to put the stem right through that little hole that I cut in the top. And I'm going to wrap this down around. And there you have it. That's how you coat your chilies. There you go. I've done them all. It's time to take them over to the fryer. Doing a temperature check here, and this time I'm shooting for 325 because these things fried too fast at 350 when I was doing egg rolls. Put them in. When you see them brown on one side, roll them over, and there you go. When you pull them out, it's a good thing to leave them stem down and let the oil sort of drip out. Here we go. Here's my fifth one, and these things end up crunchy on the outside, maybe a little crunchier than a traditional Chile Relleno. It's more like a Chile Relleno chimichanga, I guess. But there's your final product, and boy, are these things good. So, a Chile Relleno is no fun at all if it's not smothered. So here you go, smothered with that pork green chili that we made, and also dusted it with a little more of that cotija and Monterey Jack blend. They're all gone already. That's how good these things are. Spectacular. But I want to stop and talk about the wine that I served this with too. So those that know me know a group of us have a side project to help small independent wineries during the apocalypse market their wine and tell people what kind of specials they have. So Lisa Toff at Source Code Beverage reached out to me and made sure we were including State Route 262 and Backpack Wine, which are a couple brands that Source Code promotes. So we got them on the site, and Lisa was sweet enough to send me some of their wine. So I really wanted to try that sparkling rosé with this dish. And State Route 262 sparkling rosé comes in a bottle, and Backpack, like all the Backpack wines, comes in a can. I couldn't tell a big difference between these two wines. Both really light, refreshing sparkling rosés that pair excellent with Mexican food. So strongly recommend giving that a try if you have the opportunity. Yep, I live in Colorado, and pork green chili is kind of a religious experience here, but I think this pork green chili is competitive with many of the ones you can buy retail or have in a restaurant here in Colorado. Give this a try. It is particularly good for smothering burritos or Chile Rellenos or that kind of thing. It's also really good on eggs, by the way. So I invite you to try this. I invite you to try State Route 262 wines and Backpack wines, and enjoy a little Mexican feast.